When I started making transit videos in 2021, I went to New Orleans, Louisiana to make a video on their historic streetcars, and while I had fun, the system confused me. I was still new to riding public transit at the time, so that was no surprise. But in 2025, I came back to the Crescent City to ride the streetcars again, and I realized, no, it's not just me. New Orleans' streetcar system, which moves tourists all around this unique and beautiful city, has a big usability problem. What kind of problem, you may ask? The only way to find out is to go for a ride. Here's a quick refresher in case you didn't watch the video from my last trip. New Orleans runs 5 streetcar lines which are overseen by the city's regional transit authority and fare integrated with the buses and ferry. 4 streetcar lines are modern builds, and one is very much not that. So I've just gotten off the plane here at Louis Armstrong International Airport, and already I'm outside in the humidity, my glasses are fogging up. It's summer in New Orleans, baby. I'm starting my ride today on Jefferson Parish Transit, which takes me from the airport to the cemetery's transit center. From here, the 47 Canal Cemeteries line runs all the way down Canal Street to near the Mississippi River. The 48 Canal City Park line parallels the 47 from downtown to Carrollton Avenue, at which point it turns northeast and heads to City Park. The 46 Rampart Loyola line runs from Union Passenger Terminal to Elysian Fields Avenue, and the 49 Riverfront line runs along the riverfront. All of these lines were built in the modern era by the RTA and use replica streetcars. Only the 12 St. Charles line, running down St. Charles and Carrollton Avenues, is original, dating back all the way to 1835, making it the oldest operating street railway in the world. Standing just outside one of New Orleans' famous above-ground cemeteries, we soon see Car 2020 rounding a bend into the transit center, one of 31 replica streetcars built for New Orleans Regional Transit Authority. These come equipped with wheelchair lifts since they were built post-ADA. While I'm grateful the RTA installed this accessibility feature and showed it off so I could film it, this type of lift takes a long time to operate and has been known to prolong dwell time. That is, the amount of time a vehicle is staying at one stop. The interior is a cheerful red, with screens showing ads and announcements, and drivers are given a modern set of controls. The best part though is that this car is air conditioned. We take off and turn down Canal Street. A fellow passenger tells me he's a New Orleans local and that he's riding downtown to grab a late lunch. The full 3.6-mile journey from here to the Mississippi waterfront is scheduled to take 33 minutes, averaging just 6.5 miles per hour. Still faster than the Atlanta streetcar. We pass over the junction with the 48 and I pull the cord to request my stop. Alright, here we are in the neutral ground of Canal Street, which is what they call a median here in New Orleans. You'll notice that the track is grassy, which looks very nice. It's also fairly wide. It's actually Pennsylvania trolley gauge, the same gauge as SEPTA's trolley system. Up here you can see a sign for the different services. The colored streetcar lines do still have numbers, just like the bus system. You'll notice that all of the poles for the trolley wire have these little lights on them. It looks very cool. I'd love to see what it looks like at night. This station is very bare bones. It's just concrete and a bench. Some of the other stops, like down that way, actually have shelters from the blisteringly hot 90-degree sun. And the trees are sporadically screaming, so I think there's some kind of insect in there. I'll see if I can get a good recording of that. A 48 car arrives and we turn northeast down Carrollton Avenue. For most of this run, we're in mixed traffic with cars. Then we pull into a single-tracked median section and terminate at City Park. I'm literally standing right here next to the road like a crazy person waiting for the trees to start screaming again to prove to you that I'm not crazy. The trees here are actually making a weird sort of electric buzzing noise. I think it's bugs. I hope it's bugs. City Park covers 1,300 acres, making it 50% larger than New York's Central Park. It also contains the city's Museum of Art. I always love coming to the South and seeing hanging moss. Like, where I come from, moss is not allowed to do that. Aha! There they are. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Then we're back on the 48. As me and a couple of other tourists struggle to pull up our day passes, the operator reminds us that this is a legitimate public transit vehicle. We turn back onto Canal Street and make our way south, passing the RTA's car barn and arriving at Elk Place, where we step off and our car pulls away. Now it's time to try the Rampart Loyola line, which is currently only running between here and Union Passenger Terminal due to construction. Alright, I am on Loyola, and there's supposed to be a streetcar per transit app. is nowhere to be found. This does not bode well. So now the time has increased to 27 minutes. It literally said it was coming. I do realize that it's on a detour, so perhaps Transit app is projecting a schedule that is not extant. In which case, I have no idea when the streetcar is coming. Eventually, I give up and start walking towards the Amtrak station. So I was walking along here, and I was like, oh, finally, a streetcar! It's a freaking mural! It's a freaking streetcar painted on the side of a building! It's actually really crowded here in downtown New Orleans because the Saints are playing today. There's a lot of fans out. Who dat? So I have a theory. I think the reason the streetcar is backed up is because everything else is. This is one downside of streetcars in the modern world of private vehicles. I make it to the Amtrak station without seeing a single streetcar. Inside are signs for the inaugural Mardi Gras service, which launches the day after filming. Check out my video on that if you haven't already. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Literally as we walk up to the platform, there's a streetcar leaving. These definitely could be cleaner. It looks like there's oncoming traffic in the way of the streetcar. Up here we see the pedestal formerly belonging to a Robert E. Lee statue, but now containing nothing because Robert E. Lee was a traitor and we don't celebrate traitors anymore, thank goodness. It's now known as Harmony Circle because polyphony is better than Confederacy. And down here we see the St. Charles line, which has been operating since 1835, making New Orleans one of only 7 US cities to never entirely get rid of streetcars. So let the record state that the tracker says the St. Charles line will be coming in 9 minutes. It has been saying that for about 3 or 4 minutes. The streetcar is showing up on the map, but it's not moving. So I don't know whether this is a operational thing. Update, after several minutes it has finally shifted to 8 minutes. Oh no, it's 6 minutes. And there's another one in 9 minutes. Finally, the first car arrives and...
Close your mouth, please, Michael. We are not a codfish.
A few minutes later, a second car pulls up. Now we're heading down the St. Charles line into the Garden District, and just a glance out the window shows you why this car is packed with tourists. It's genuinely a fun ride, and you can learn way more about its history in my last video on New Orleans streetcars. So even though this is the second of 2 cars, it's still so packed that I'm currently kneeling in the wheelchair space. So if someone gets on with a wheelchair, I will have to stand. We make it to the end of the line and jump on another car. This one, a Pearly Thomas vehicle from the early 1920s. It takes us all the way back to Canal Street. Isn't it funny how they just park the streetcar there and the cars have to drive around it? And so here we are on Canal Street. It's very loud. That back there is Bourbon Street. We don't talk about what goes on back there. We're catching a ferry. We walk down Canal Street to the ferry terminal and catch a boat across the Mississippi River. This takes us to the Algiers ferry terminal on the opposite bank, where we immediately get back on the boat. From here, we can see where our last streetcar trip will run. And that timed out perfectly because now it's time to catch our final streetcar of the day, the Riverfront line. We're boarding the Riverfront streetcar at its fairly magnificent Canal Street station, at least whenever it comes. When I text the number on the station sign, the RTA tells me that the next car won't be along for 25 minutes. A few minutes later, the next car shows up, and we head towards French Market. This right-of-way is 2 miles long, and unlike the rest of the streetcar system, it's grade separated, having been built out of an old freight right-of-way. When it opened in 1988, it was the first modern-built streetcar line in New Orleans. Okay, blood sugar is dropping very fast. I was gonna try to make it all the way to Frenchman Street, but I think I need to stop and get some carbohydrates. A couple of local pralines later, and I'm feeling much better. So that was my second go-round on the New Orleans streetcar system. I had a lot of fun, and met some really interesting people on board, but even using Transit app and the RTA's La Passe app, I was surprised by delays and crowdings on streetcars, and it took a long time to ride the small network. That may be because it's essentially a local bus system, just cuter and on tracks. I have no problem with New Orleans RTA running streetcars, given their historic value and popularity with tourists who drive the city's economy. But I do think that the agency could do a little more to help orient visitors like me, particularly those who have never ridden any kind of bus system before. Crowding, delays, and confusion are some of the most commonly cited issues in negative TripAdvisor reviews of the system, which, mind you, still has a 4.4 star rating overall. My proposal is this: place e-ink displays at every streetcar stop, or at least ones with large ridership. Have them display how many stops away each vehicle is, as well as their estimated arrival time, ideally based on live traffic data. If there's a way to do this, have them report streetcar capacity as well, so that tourists won't be surprised when a car passes them by or is standing room only. You can actually see the sort of display I'm talking about here at the corner of St. James and Dartmouth in Back Bay in Boston. There's an e-ink display, refreshed every minute, with arrival times based on live information and bus numbers, crowding, and this sometimes shows like delays and alerts. There's also a button for audio for accessibility, and the whole thing is powered by this solar panel up here. I am so cold. I miss New Orleans.